do believe we are live. So I'll say indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friend. Thank you for joining me again on another day. 848. Such synchronicity. I am and an infinity symbol made of peace and calming oil. Infinity symbol made of Dan is here too. Sending your love, Dan. We're going to talk about being embarrassed today. Being embarrassed. I had this dream last night where I was interfacing as the true version of myself. Mononoke, so nice seeing your name. Send your lovins, friend. Where I was like some sort of entity again, in full-fledged, the ultimate power state, to say it in so many words, right? Powerful, capable, complete. Maybe complete is a good word. And then as I was coming back into my body, waking up, it came to me as an epiphany that it's embarrassing being human sometimes, right? And I was like, well, I guess that's what we're talking about today. So today we'll talk about being embarrassed. Specifically, I feel like my intention is coming from this perspective of you are a divine being. And as that divine being, as the everything, as God, it is embarrassing being human, right? It's like, yeah, just straight up, it's kind of embarrassing. Just a little bit at least. But just because something is embarrassing, hey Google, define embarrassing. Let's see what the Google definition is. Embarrassing. Cause someone to feel awkward, self-conscious, or ashamed. I don't think of ashamed. Maybe not ashamed as much as self-conscious and feeling awkward. Specifically how this version of your fleshiness will never hold the fullness of what you actually are, right? And in a way, that's going to be the embarrassment we have to deal with forever as human beings, right? That I'll never get to be my highest self. I'm going to try. Oh, goodness, I'm going to try. But I don't know if I'll actually succeed in properly being just my complete highest self. So with that in mind, we'll try. I'll add a little extra symbol on here for enlightenment. Please, sir, can I have some more enlightenment, please? There goes. You see that? Yeah, you see that. Let's see what you friends are saying. Hey, Loenzana's here too. Nancy as well, sending all of you love. I've been missing you in stream. Loenzana has been kind of just quiet. I don't know if she's not been here, but maybe quiet if anything. There's gonna be some noise. You know what I can do? Let's see. I'm gonna take out my little brick of technology. Take out this dude. Close this one up again. Now we have a second feed. Gonna take off this little fluffy cat. Gonna put the fluffy cat here. Gonna swappity swoop and see if that helps. Helps a little bit. Yeah, you're sick of. I will never hold the fullness of who you actually are, Deep Melt. Yeah, and it's not like it does sound kind of nihilistic, a little bit, Nancy, I'll agree, but it's not supposed to be. It's more supposed to be an encouragement for you to realize you're actually free, right? That you cannot embarrass yourself. It's impossible for you to actually embarrass yourself because you already did in becoming human, right? It's kind of embarrassing having to mush food with your teeth stones and then swallow the pulp so that you don't die of starvation, right? That's a bit embarrassing in my mind, right? To go to the extreme again. And instead of letting ourselves be overwhelmed with this embarrassment, we can realize you can still lean into the part of yourselves that you don't have to be embarrassed about, right? Your mind. I mean, you can even be embarrassed about the things you think as well, but there's no use in being embarrassed about it because you're already embarrassed, right? Like, I hope that this concept, it was like coming out of a dream fog, so it's probably not gonna make any sense, but I hope it does click for some of you friends. Hey, Joy Viva's here, sending you lovin's. Oh, good friends, Shell is here too. By the way, I love you and the ones who haven't even met a soul yet. So much love to you too, Shell. Thank you for echoing that love in this space right now. There is some wind running around, causing a little bit of havoc, so I'm gonna hold this thing down. Haven't been on the stream for a week and a half. Work has been insane. You've been showing up for yoga though. That's pretty impressive. Thank you for doing that at least. So I am the infinity was the intention written on the inside of the Garrick. So on the outside we'll write me. Just me, right? As a counter to the embarrassment. Sure, embarrassing, but also me, right? They can either be pride or there can be shame with an embarrassment. Because you could embarrass yourself endearingly, right? And you could be like, yeah, that's me, right? I do funny stuff sometimes. I stumble over my words a little bit, maybe. And that can be, oh goodness, so perfect, right? As I was writing this E, I mess it up. That's an embarrassing E right there, but it's so perfect for the exact point I'm feeling right now. Okay, I see Duck Dad is here too, sending you love. No, I didn't think it's nihilistic. I meant it was deep. I know, right? I was just echoing again the thing I was feeling. Thank you, Nancy, for listening with such depth and with such openness as always. I get embarrassed sharing myself. For example, I type out things and I find by the end of it, most times I just backspace. You see, I'm trying to get at that part of us today. Is that Nancy who said that? No, that's Mononoke. Mononoke, I'm trying to get at that part of us, right? Because yes, you can be embarrassed by it, but also that is you. Lane! Wow! Lane is here again. Bro! Dude, Lane, it's been forever. Oh, I've been crying. I've been having sleepless nights. I've been headbanging to metal in my head. I'm having a hard time opening my grinder right now. Dude, it's so nice seeing you. How have you been? How's life treating you? Has it been wild? Yeah? Tell me. I have as well, Mel. There we go. Lane is leaning into the joke. Love you, dude. It's nice having you here in this moment. We're talking about embarrassment today, right? And like you probably have more grit, more like oomph, more like power when it comes to overcoming embarrassment than most of us. Lane has been performing in front of people for a long time, right? He's made multiple albums that he shared with us friends, right? And if he had to for a second kind of like be occupied with whether or not he was going to embarrass himself, I don't think Lane would have been able to do as much as he's been able to do. So Lane, bro, I feel like it's so apt that you're in the stream with us today. You're strong, so powerful. You got powers. You got powers, Lane. Man, this wind is gonna make it hard for me. I'm gonna have to be doing it like this a little bit because the wind is it's not making it easy for me. Hopefully I don't embarrass myself with rolling this joint. I do take pride in how my joints turn out after all. Like, yes, it has to be perfect. But you're gonna literally light it on fire, melt, and then inhale the smoke. Yes, exactly. That's a big ask for me to do something. So if I'm gonna have to do it, I might as well do it well. All right. All right. Embarrass myself to the utmost extreme, because this is probably gonna be something embarrassing for me to look back upon. Right. The version of me that's in his 40s, it's gonna be like, bro, why do you keep smoking stuff? Or why did you keep doing that, bro? You know it's not good for you to do that. I know, highest self. I know it's not good for me. I'm doing it to embarrass you right now. It's not actually why. It's because I Man, like this is one of the most embarrassing joints I've rolled, I think, so far. It's actually not working properly. I'm embarrassing myself. It's perfect, yes. Yes, I feel the lessons. Yes, okay. Let's let's unroll this again. And then we can embarrass ourselves, but we're not gonna give up, are we? No. No, no, no. That won't happen. There we go. Ba, skip yow. Boom. Sick. I love you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, friends, for finding the time to spend even a moment. Let me see. I think I'm already a little bit behind. Joy Vive did say something. She mentioned, I went to a dinner and a movie with a friend, and I went into the restaurant and asked them where the outdoor seating was, and the waitress points out the front door at the tables I walked right past. So embarrassing. And yet, in that moment, Joy Vive, there was a part of you that probably wanted to cease to exist because you were so self-aware that you do exist, right? Hey, Zano. In that moment, in this moment, Zano is in the world right now. And I'm like, hey, Zano. Hey, I see you. And Zano's like, shit, I exist. Embarrassment can be visceral in that way. It can remind you of the intensity of your own existence, even when your own existence is in your own mind less than ideal. Asking the waitress where the outside tables were when you just passed it, and being like, oh, please, can't I just disappear from the face of the earth right now? Fade into complete obscurity, never to be seen again. Please help me disappear. Fortunately, I have friends who would relentlessly make fun of me for embarrassing myself. And I feel in my mind, like it depends on how you embarrass yourself. If you embarrass yourself with something trivial, right? Like you like bump a glass and you spill some drink on the table or something. That usually isn't something my friends go into ridicule with. But when it comes to like I wasn't actually properly thinking before I started speaking, and then I embarrass myself, then they'll get on it straight up. They won't miss a beat. They'll be like, "You're so stupid," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know." Oh, I love this topic so much. I've been putting myself out on stream and ways that could embarrass me, just so that I would overcome both the pride and the shame and just show people what I enjoy. And I like that. Thank you for doing that, Shell. For being yourself, right? That's the outside intention. That sure, embarrassment can be shameful if you make it as such. Or you can be like, yeah, this is me. Sometimes I don't think before I speak. Sometimes I ask people where the outside tables are, even though I just passed them like 20 seconds ago. Sometimes I do that. That's me sometimes, right? I'm not ashamed. That's just what happens when you don't pay attention. And I am trying to learn how to pay super close attention. Are you paying attention, dear friend? I had some cool chats with my parents, with my mom last night. Like a bunch. All of them based in the nature of what it is I believe. Where I was asking my mom, kind of like from a scientific perspective, right? Like trying to find common themes. I was like, Mama, let me just go straight for English. Mama, you can see that I'm trying to make decisions for the right reasons, right? And she's like, yeah, I can see that. And I'm like, and you know that I do, adequate research before I get obsessed with something. And she's like, yeah, I can see that. And then I'm like, Mama, like there's a reason why I'm so relentless when it comes to what we're supposed to believe in. Because I believe what we believe in shapes our reality. And we can either, again, with this topic of embarrassment, we can either let ourselves be shaped by our embarrassment or realizing that our embarrassment just shapes an opportunity for us to feel something. Right? And weirdly enough, Joy Vive's kind of perspective of embarrassing herself in front of like a waiter, it's a person, right? And you're so fully aware it's a person. And that embarrassment can cause this plethora of feelings where you might want to like stop existing. That's like for some reason my extreme of embarrassment. If I have embarrassed myself like to the point of discomfort, I just imagine disappearing, right? Like just like fading from existence, just so that I don't have to stand in that embarrassment. And yet that feeling of being so aware of your own existence, so self-conscious, so insecure, even can be beautiful. Like in the same way that anxiety, right, is a feeling that is trying to make sure you stay alive, right? If you can frame your anxiety in that way, that it's your body's attempt to keep you alive. And whatever is happening in your mind, whatever is happening in your outside environment is alluding to you, signaling to you that there is something that could be dangerous, could be a threat to your existence, egoic or, physical. And then that anxiety experience is just your body's need to keep you in one piece. Do it this way. Yeah. Keeping you in one piece, right? So feel it. Feel the embarrassment, feel the anxiety, feel alive. Feel viscerally alive. Long time no speak. This is Dan. There we go. Dan sending lovin's to our lane as well. Semester is over after my classes today. Moving back home this weekend. Moving back home. For a period of time, Lane? Or for real? The embarrassment is real. Because he has to move back, but it's something that's got to shake off sometimes. I presented an atonal black metal song to my theory class yesterday, and a few people enjoyed it, but it was a fun experiment. That sounds like good fun, to introduce non-academic music into an academic music class, I can imagine. Shan, as of right now, I'm not returning to this specific college, but I'm open to go back to a more dedicated music school later. I saw Whiplash recently, and I know that's not your fractal, but I saw a lot of what you might be going through in a weird way through that movie. I was thinking about you a lot watching it. Lane, I'm proud of you, dude. Like all of the stuff you learned, all of the experiences you've gained, all of the people that you met, all of the uncomfortabilities that you went through, all of the music that you played, all of the things remains. Remains. Just because you don't go back doesn't mean all of that stuff disappears with it. To the I am. The I am. What follows I am when you speak words follows you, right? So proclaim, I am happy. I am present. I am here now. I am grateful for my doggos. I am hopeful for the future. I am. The I am. I am that I am. I am that I am that I am that I am that I am. I am not embarrassed to be I am. I am grateful to be I am. That generator is going to be turned off soon. I am sure of it. I hope it's not too loud. I think there's like a low little layer of bass noise, but it will pass. Maybe we'll get used to it. Also, had Baba's vet appointment. He's fine. Checkup went well, but apparently he needs $3,000 worth of dental work done. You can do dental work on cats. There are cat dentists out there. Melt, vets are also cat dentists. Don't tell it to me like that, like you know more than me. Did you know that cats get dentist work done? $3,000. $3,000? I think I made just a little bit more than $3,000 all of last year, Joy. That's fucked up. I'm sorry for my profanity. I cannot even imagine. Why? What's wrong with the cat's teeth? Why does he need to have so much freaking... That's insane. I haven't missed a yoga class. Just a yoga and dash. The fact that you're doing the yoga, I feel might even be... And this is... I don't even know if I should be saying this, but might even be better for your mind than these streams. Because I do believe these streams are kind of done with this intention of helping our collective mental wealth, mental health, mental evolution, right? But being able to move our bodies in the way we do with yoga is something that has changed my perspective on movement. Where at this point, it's almost like I'm not there, right? It's like the movement and the voice that comes along with those movements just happen in and of itself. It's like it's natural for me to be moving that way and to be talking in the way that I do. And it's just because of the repeated nature of it. We're doing it every single day. Welcome aboard to the Be Here Now Infinity stream. New reveals. Yeah, your embarrassment is real. I can think I read it one. Yeah, I'm going back down the rabbit hole tonight, friends. I'm heading to my friend's house. And we're going to do a mushroom trip. Yes. Mushroom trips with good friends are a fantastic way for you to bond and form extremely meaningful relationships and connections. Right. And I feel if done with that in mind, with that intention, there's more good to be had than there will ever be any harm. Like, it's crazy to me because I was like thinking about that as well today. Dan, like a mushroom trip I had with Christian. This is another scarf that Christian gave me. When he went to Mauritius, he brought this for me back from Mauritius. It doesn't fit with the shirt at all, but I think it's gonna make for an interesting flower. It's a dodo burb. It's a dodo burb. I have an extinct animal's picture as a scarf that came from another country around my neck right now. And we took 5 grams of mushrooms, me and him alone together. My first heroic dose, the first time I ever did 5 grams of mushrooms, or the 5-gram threshold of mushrooms, I did it with him. And we had our brains melted properly. Like, we watched the rest of the world melt away and only found stability within our conversations with one another, where I was almost in this role of clarity and he was in this role of questioning. And then he would ask questions and I would give him clear answers. And it was this weird trip of going back and forth, almost having a psychic conversation with one another, but then articulating only like little snippets of words. Like, from the outside perspective, it probably looked like we were absolutely insane people. And then the experience kind of calmed down a little bit later. And then Christian starts talking about killing me. You're like, haha, Mel. No, actually, he starts talking about killing me. He asks me nicely if he can kill me. And I'm like, no thank you. No thank you. I don't, no? Should I just say no? Should I not say thank you? Just no? And it was this trip of him knowing exactly the type of person I am, knowing that he knows I know the type of person he is, asking a question like that in that state of mind, that opened us to this perspective that even if he did kill me in that moment, I would still love him, right? Almost like showing ourselves with this cosmic giggle that if you can completely align yourself with that level of love, It's impossible to be embarrassed, right? Even if you get killed by your best friend. And it was comical. So have a good time. Have a good time, Dan. Sending you extra lovin's. The fact that I thought about that significant moment today, tripping with my friend, I hope you have a good time, dude. Let me see if I'm missing any more comments. Another vet, yeah, get another quote, get a second. You probably do pay if you go to another vet though, so might end up costing her more if the other person even, asks more or whatever. Lane, I don't know where you're located, but I have several friends that attended the Vandercook College of Music in Chicago, and they talk highly of it. There we go. That could be one way, actually. Lane saying, I'm getting on the grind this year, practicing and honoring my skill rather than have professors take up all my time and get in the way of my practicing. I'm going to do the thing and do it unapologetically. You know me, Lane? You know me, dude. You do know me. And I'm very much team yes. Do what you love unapologetically. Grow the skills of your beingness unapologetically because that's the only thing that will remain. They can take away everything, right? The impermanence of wanting to grasp things in the outside world, even be it an experience like going to college, right? That can be taken away from you at a moment's notice. Oh, there's no more cash. Can't go to school anymore. Actually, your grades aren't good enough. No more school for you. Actually, you broke both your legs and there's no escalators or, handicapped, able, whatever. I'm going too deep into the fractal. I'm sorry. Let's bring it back. But they can take away the skills you gain, right? And I feel the ultimate skill we gain in this world is our ability to love. And the only way for you to grow your skill of your ability to love is to do what you like doing, to do what you actually love. It's almost like a momentum thing, inertial magic. If you head in the direction of what you love most more, then you're going to find more love, right? It's to me, it's kind of simple. It's like, yeah, surely that's how it has to work, and goodness, I hope it does, because I am kind of betting my life on it. It's high stakes, and I might embarrass myself, right? But I'm willing to. I'm willing to. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Because I know I'm going to have a good experience. Or at least my experience, if anything. Right? Who am I to say it's going to be good or bad? It's going to be mine. It's going to be yours, Lane, and nobody else can have that experience for you. I'm happy that you could go to this college experience, have the experience, be like, ah, yes, no time for myself, working a job while studying, having to perform, having to be places at certain allotted time periods, having to give them projects that I don't care about. Oh, yes, I don't love this. I don't love this. Maybe I should stop doing it. Thank you for listening, Lane, to yourself. Grow those skills. That's what I believe is going to be best, and you know it too. Katie's joining us too, sending you lovin's. We have Lane here with us today. Katie, it's nice having you too, sending you so much good vibes. Dry Storian, so nice having you as well. I'm going to get to your comments now. I'm still a little behind, like 12 minutes or something. Yes, it could get another quote, but my bestie in Minneapolis got a similar quote a few months ago for her little furball that needed some extractions. So I think it's the going rate. Extractions. Teeth getting pulled, still 3,000 bucks. I would love to go to Berkeley, but that's an expensive endeavor. Yeah, again, these experiences could help. They could expose you to people that could give you more perspective. But so there's this quote that luck is preparation meets opportunity, right? And I feel you're basically the first 50 years of your life, you should be preparing. Ah, oh, good, pure silence. For the first 50 years of your life, just prepare, right? Oh, you're already past 50? Spend the next 50 years of your life preparing. Oh, Mel, I am not going to live 50 more years. Oh, bet. You want to bet me? If you live 50 more years, I want all your money. Oh, Mel, but I'm gonna have so much money if I do what I love for the next 50 years. Yeah, exactly. That's why I want it. But only 50 years from now, okay? We have to get there first 50 years from now. So prepare, right? And then if we prepare, if we grow the skills, if we do the things we love, opportunity will meet. And then we're gonna be so lucky. Oh, so lucky. And we are lucky. We're lucky to have this moment, I believe. But we'll get luckier. We've been preparing for this moment ultimately. All of our embarrassments was but preparation for our futures. Lucas, you're too, sending you love. No doubt the right school will show itself. Exactly. Most things are nip slip at a pool party. Uh, Zano. What a trip. What a trip. I've never even considered that as a possible embarrassment vector in my life. My nipples have always been unscrutinized. I think that's the best fractal to elicit, right? As a man, I get to have my nipples out in direct sunlight, and then light molecules can bounce off of my nipples into people's eyeballs, and that's okay apparently. But if you're a woman, no, 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 no. But they're the exact same thing, yes. But they're attached to something. And I was wondering about this, and maybe this is a weird, embarrassing fractal to go into, but we have to now because we're here. Thank you, Zano. Is it is are boobs sexualized because they protrude? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Because that was I was wondering. I was like, they're the same thing, right? Like I have boobs as well. Like look, my boobs. What am I doing? I'm embarrassing myself. I'm sorry. I have boobs as well. Mine aren't that different. But because I think women's, protrude more from the chest, maybe that's what gives them sexuality. Maybe the desirability of it generates sexuality. I don't know. Arbitrary rules, right? Brain damage, I like to call it as well. It's like, yeah, society tells you, actually, women nipples, no, no, no. Don't want those boys getting excited. Maybe that's what it is, right? It's a parenting thing. No, no, I have to ask our female friends something. Are women attracted to male chests? A resounding yes. Okay, well, so maybe it's again patriarchy, right? Because men have a say in rules like that, it is that way. Even though there's sexualization both ways. This topic is tripping me out. What am I? Cable, save me! Oh, Cable, please! Cable, I need help. I'm like so thick in the embarrassment. The embarrassment is drowning me right now. My music career is not ending because I'm not in the academic scene. It's only beginning. Bro, like, unless you plan on dying within like the next 20 minutes, your music career is going to be for the rest of your life, right? At least I believe so. I don't think you'll ever stop making music, Lane. I see you, like, if we're, part of me sees this reality where our bodies won't age the way they do right now, right? So even in your like 500s, you'll still have an able body. You can still move and do things, play your guitar if that's what you need to. But on the other side, if we don't get tech that can like completely enable us to not become decrepit human beings, I imagine Lane with like some sort of brain computer interfacing technology, still like pumping out absolute bangers, just laying in bed. People are like, dude, like maybe like a feed of Lane, just laying in bed, he's like 504. Still like absolute gangster bangers. Wow. People losing their minds. Being like, yeah, dude, that dude doesn't stop. So you still got like 480 years of music in front of you, Lane. You got this, bro. You freaking got this. It ain't done until we're done. Embarrassing story. Again, thank you, Zano. Zano, embarrassing, but I bet it may be a few people's day. Everyone likes a free boob slip. Yes, even women, right? Apparently, even women. How about that? Everyone, actually everyone. Uh, oh, ooh. When Amara was younger, she went to a co-op for some food, and the lady behind the counter had very bold eyebrows. And Amara goes, "Wow, you got some eyebrows." Yeah, kids have a way of speaking the truth so clearly that it can be devastating. Because Amara didn't say anything mean. She just acknowledged a fact of reality. Was like, "Wow, you got some eyebrows, huh? How about those eyebrows on your face? Creative, bold choice," she says. Mm. I'll probably never get over it. Family friends accidentally seeing my full boob. How did I say how do I say that's just me? You see, again, I feel it's only embarrassing because we've been convinced that it's supposed to be, that it's taboo. I do understand the free the nipple movement thing. It's not a it's not like an expectation, I think at least, from a law perspective that they have to make things legal or decriminalize. I think it's more the social stigma that is attached to it. The amount of social stigma. It is embarrassing to see a naked person, right? And a naked person depends apparently on gender, but it's there are differences. But I feel the concept remains the same, right? Naked person. Why do we assign different values? Maybe it's because of a power thing again, right? Like the potential for abuse, for example. We live in a society. Yeah. More brain damage. I'll probably never get over it. I have some moments of extreme embarrassment that I can't even pick one. When I stop giving an F, it's better, yes. Realize that all of your embarrassment or all of your embarrassment is what makes you who you are, and then it's okay. It is so okay. I think I am mostly out of the way. We're gonna have the woman say goodbye to us. Dat zien ze wel. Veilig weer zo. Kiss me. Gotta be careful about not humanizing everything. Yeah, we do tend to anthropomorphize. It's true, Kevel, because it makes things more relatable, right? That's why we have literal humanoid cats as characters. Peppy, relax. Like the new Puss in Boots movie. Like when you watch that movie, sure you know they're cats. You know Puss in Boots is a cat. But what you see is a person, right? You're seeing human, person, people. There is a vibrancy there, a story. Maybe that's what it is. What makes a person is their ability to tell a story about themselves, about the world, about an event, about why they do things. So maybe we can remind ourselves that everything that we embarrassed ourselves with was in some way attached to a story as well. And now that embarrassment in hindsight is a story as well. It's not an actuality. Most people probably have forgotten about it even. An embarrassing moment that I remember. Once upon a time, I was naked and involved with my girlfriend under the stars at like 2 a.m. How romantic. Suddenly there was flashing lights on us. It was her parents. Embarrassed? I was mortified. Oh, bro. Oh, goodness. I've never been caught by, like this sounds weird to say, but I've never been caught by I'm sleeping with's parents. Like I've been in 2 relationships, and both of them we were pretty discreet. I feel discretion is very important to me. It's like respect both ways. Respect for one another and respect for the rest of the world. And having, oh goodness, having flashlights on you. So what I'm seeing, right? And I'm sorry because this is what my brain does. It has to take in all of the perspectives at the same time. So I'm looking through these parents' eyes with these flashlights, and I'm like shining on Joe Schmo's bare ass, just seeing these two moons, you know, in contrast to the larger moon, shining back, scorching my eyeballs, right? Knowing the reality that this person is sleeping with my daughter right now. Oh goodness! Oh! Oh, and then I'm imagining Joe's perspective, again as myself, just being, in a state of love with a person I've chosen, and then her parents, oh, and then wanting to respect them. Oh, this dude, yeah. I've never experienced something quite that embarrassing. What's my most embarrassing moment? I think probably singing in front of the entire school. Uh, we had this like almost like small competition, like grade based competition for singing, and I won our age group's first prize in the singing competition. And then all of the first prize winners of every grade had to sing in front of the whole school's hall. So every kid in the school gathered in one place, and you had to sing in front of them. And surprise, surprise, as a 9-year old, there was load shedding that day. So there was no electricity in the hall. So there was no microphone, speaker system. So I had to, as a 9-year-old, get up on stage and try and project my voice over 1,000 kids or whatever. And as I was trying to do that, Juffrouw Ekstien, Juffrouw Ekstien, Mrs. Ekstien, oh, like what a trip, kind of close to my name as well. For some reason, I've never actually clicked that. Ah, yes, I forgive you, Juffrouw Ekstien. But in that moment, she kept screaming at me to sing louder. She was like, louder, the kids can't hear you, you're louder. And I tried to sing my voice into a peak, and then it went, like a 9-year-old boy's voice does when he tries to sing too loud. And then the entire hall burst out in laughter. And I'm standing there, right, literally deafened. Like the hall is deafening my ability to sing anything. And I just walk off the stage. And then for years after that, people would call me Volksbok because of the song I sung had the Volksbok, an animal, as the theme, as a wildebeest. Actually, it's not a wildebeest. It's a type of deer. As the deer seeks water, I seek you, my God. It was a Christian song I sang. Oh goodness, the amount of trauma, the embarrassment, right? And the kids, oh, they fucking loved that. They really loved that they could just like, with a single word, completely devastate me once again. Remind me that they haven't actually forgotten about this extreme embarrassment. And yet here we stand, right? Still alive. I did try to sing again in front of a stage, and then the same thing didn't happen this time. This is the second time I forgot my lyrics. Because it was again another Christian song and I couldn't be bothered. And yeah, that one was worse. Just because I just like, fell off of my backtrack mid song, and then I was like, shit, I guess this is it. Yeah. That's my most embarrassing moments. I believe, at least. I don't think I've experienced anything more embarrassing. Actually, that's a lie. I have one more very embarrassing moment. When I was 18, one of my cousins, a cousin that was only cousin by law, like a married to me cousin. My uncle married a woman who already had kids. This cousin's birthday, 21st birthday. And in South Africa, drinking culture is pretty strong. And at that point in my life, I would drink, but I did start smoking weed at that point. And then I went to this party, and this cousin of mine's cousins were there as well. And they took it upon them to get me as drunk as possible. And this is again me, actually, now and looking in hindsight, this is me wanting to blame someone as well for this embarrassment that's coming. So I forgive those people as well. I'll take full responsibility. I drank too much. I think the point where it like really went like, okay, so you're drinking, you're drinking, you're drinking, like you're drinking too much, right? That point for me was when I had a tray full of vodka shooters, and I walked to go and give it to other people, and maybe 9 of the people I gave a shooter to refused to take a shooter if I didn't take a shooter with them. And then that was like basically the last of the night that I remembered from my perspective. From my perspective, that was like me running that and then sitting down with my cousins and having a chat and feeling really drunk, right? Kind of rowdy a little bit, actually. And then nothing, then void. And then I wake up in a room that smells like puke. Naked. And there were supposed to be people sleeping in that room with me, but there was no one. And I felt like trash. And I go out into the world, and they tell me, they give me like stuff to clean the puke with. And I do. And then I get in a car with my uncle because he was driving back to, the inner city, which is like 4.5 hours away. And he took it upon himself to really tell me the situation, right? Really tell me the situation and how I'm fucking my life up, and how if I continue down this path, right? And as a hungover 18-year-old stuck in a car with someone, that's not exactly what you want. And I don't even know what I did. All I think I did is puke in a room, right? And went to bed naked. That's what I think I did. And then I learned that there was a lot more that I did. I started off by fighting with my mom. Not a physical altercation, but I confronted her about, in her words, her being a two-faced bitch. I'm sorry, but if we're gonna go into embarrassment, we have to talk about everything. And at that point in my life, me and my dad's relationship was pretty much at its worst, where my dad would go into these trips, and I feel, at least now in hindsight, probably rightfully so, but he would be extremely mean, right? He would come for my character. He would come for my intelligence. And my mom, in that situation, would just be a passive bystander, right? And now in hindsight, I understand as well that she's his wife, right? And I'm the son, I'm the kid, the 18-year-old that needs to be disciplined. But she wouldn't stand up for me. And I felt, my dad doesn't stand up for me, right? He's the one coming for me. And the only person that I really thought I could count on was my mom. And she wouldn't do that either. And having no inhibitions, I thought that was the correct time to tell her. After that, apparently I was so upset and distraught that I wanted to, in my words, get out of here. And then I apparently took keys off of like the hanging rack trying to start cars, trying to drive away, like trying to actually steal someone's car, actually trying to steal someone's car, trying to get away from that experience. They subdued me. They got me in my room. When I got into the room, I decided I'm having hot flashes or something. And I apparently again emerged from the room completely naked. And there was like a fire pit in front of the chalet that we were sleeping in. It has like a room with like two bunk beds, one, and then two bunk beds, and then a door. And then there was like a fire pit where people were sitting. And apparently I emerged from my room completely naked, and I walked past them, not noticing them apparently, like being so wasted that I probably couldn't see in front of myself or something, marching to the bathroom, taking a shower, and then again completely naked, sopping wet. I walked back to the room. I probably puked and then went and took a shower or something. Oh, yeah. That's probably, I don't know. For me, it's not as embarrassing because I wasn't there for it. I was in the void, right? My ability to form memories was completely disconnected. The viscerality of being in the first person perspective as the whole school is laughing at you, I think was a little bit more cutting. Oh, sharing those embarrassments. I forgive myself. I forgive myself. I don't plan on doing it again. Oh no, sir. I think I've learned my lesson, but I do forgive myself. Well, thank you, friends, for listening to my embarrassing stories. Don't tell anybody, please. Keep it a secret. Nobody can know. Nobody can know. We're talking about being embarrassed. We're we're not embarrassing ourselves. We're distancing. Like, look, here's the embarrassment. We're not gonna not gonna get all mixed up into it. Okay, let me see if I can get back to some of the comments. That's a good question, Mel. That's the last comment I get to see for some reason, Zano. I think maybe because they are different and women's have it as a function. Yeah, right. Like as a child, being breastfed by your mom and that having like some sort of psychological oxytocin influence. Yeah, I can see it. I can definitely see it. I shall help you, Melty. I'm always willing to jump in the spotlight of embarrassment. I'm just imagining Cable, like this experience. Oh man, I don't know if it's morbid, right? Cable is a light being. He doesn't care about his flesh vehicle. That being said, in this instant flash I had as an imagination, is Cable jumping into the spotlight of embarrassment, and then suddenly his entire body just gets melted away, and there's just light being Cable. And then he steps out of the beam of embarrassment, and then he goes, and his body reassembles. I added the second part for completion's sake. I shall help you, Melty. Thank you again. I'm heading back out to my weeding. It rained, so it makes the job easier. Nice and soft soil. Love you, Kate. Thank you for being a caretaker. Pride is not the opposite of shame, but it soars. True humility is the only antidote to shame. I like that. I do actually like that. It's this, at least for me, perspective of if you're truly humble to the point of knowing the nothing part of yourself, what can embarrass you, right? It's like everything you've done and even beingness itself can be embarrassing, shameful, unless you find yourself humble enough to realize that you are good enough just as you are. Humble from a perspective of non entitlement is the way I'm thinking about it, Sam. Right? You're not entitled to everybody thinking you're super cool. But when you embarrass yourself, that trip of, oh, people are going to think I'm so lame, they're not going to think I'm cool anymore. Who says you're entitled to being cool in other people's eyes? Right? Yeah, I love that. Thank you, Sam. Always sharing such good wisdoms. I still get excited about boy nipples. I don't know if it's me, but I think they're nice too. I don't get excited about nipples at all. I get excited more so about shapes, right? I see shapes. I wonder about shapes a lot. I think about it as sacred geometry, right? You can see shapes, and the more they elicit that realization of sacred geometry in your mind, the more true it is, right? The more loving in a way. And I guess a nipple is a circle, right? But I look into circles just looking into everybody's eyes. So I see circles enough. My brain is getting melted right now. Because boobs are in a way circles, right? Where men's chest can be more squarish. Maybe like teardrops, ellipses. Stop! Stop! With the shape analyzation, please. My brain is like, oh, we're gonna think shapes, are we? And then my brain goes giving me little drawings, little schematics, different values to the different shapes. Ah, yes, this one is more shapy, and this one is less shaped. I get excited. So I'm large chested, and I get to see a specialist for a lung infection, and the doctor was too embarrassed to touch them, and was like, "They're lumps of fat. Move them if they're in the way." Yeah, right. Especially when you're supposed to be a medical professional giving someone medical care. Like I feel you shouldn't be in a place of stigma. Like, and it's unfortunate, right? Because this is in part how it works in the medical industry right now as well. But we're seen as almost like vehicles, right? Like cars to be worked on a little bit when we're going into the modern medical field. I heard this interesting take on medicine in the future being network based, that our DNA is basically like a network. Sorry, I'm embarrassing myself for a little bit. I should actually probably drink some water. Our DNA is probably network based, as in we have this whole data set of information, and we did genome sequence the human genome as well. So we have that database at least for a person. But having that database, in this person's analogy, I can't remember his name, sorry, is like having the phone numbers of all of the people in the city. It doesn't mean you know how everything works together to make the city function as a thriving civilization or a society does. And it's almost like we're trying to figure out how our DNA works as a network to elicit this experience. And one of the beautiful things that he was kind of going into is how we have these fail systems within this network where there are at this moment proteins being mismanufactured, you know, chemicals arriving a little bit late, genomes turning on expressions or off expressions that can be good or bad. And yet I can have this conversation as that is actively happening to my body. That small little fails in the network doesn't influence the network as a whole. But there are key parts of the network that almost make up like central hubs of the whole interconnectedness. And then because of that, an attack vector that goes for those key points can end up destroying the network, killing you, right? Like a heart failure, for example, that isn't a very important part of your network. So a type of virus that specifically attacks the cells of your heart, right? It has some sort of gene expression that knows what heart cells look like, infecting your whole body, finds your heart and specifically attacks that vector. That isn't, great. And maybe in the future, instead of being seen as, I mean, as it could be still the vehicle analogy, but I think networks to be worked on. Having your medical professional show you the network that is you with your gene expression and how different things influence you, how different genes are being expressed, and how they're going to influence the rest of your network. It was a really interesting way of seeing it. Gene modding is coming, friends. Right? That is definitely coming, and it might be easier than surgery. Like having someone having to do something to our physical body, cutting into us, or having to move our limbs. You know, maybe like there will be some separation, but maybe it's simpler than we actually thought it needed to be. Like sound healing, frequencies can also be a big thing. We can notice how they influence the networks as well. Peeps! Need to go, get ready for Friday. Yay! Work day. Love you, Anshi. Thank you for joining us, friend. Sending you love. Guess he wasn't seasoned enough to just see them as flesh. Yeah, exactly. See them as a part of your body, maybe. Maybe not flesh, even, just a part of your body. Like, this is a part of my body, and this is a part of my body, and this is a part of my body. This is a part of my body. Like, we don't, have people cover up their left ear. Be like, no, it's unsavory to see a person's left ear. Don't you know? Don't you know it's very sexual? It's very sexy to see a person's left ear. So I always keep mine hidden, out of modesty, right? Like it's a body part, your body parts. It's not that. I mean, all have them, right? I feel if all of us had unique, different, very special ears, they could be like, oh, let's. I'm embarrassing myself. Let's move on. Mine are too big. E cup, embarrassingly big. I want to cut them off all the time. Maybe not. Maybe make them smaller. That's also a thing that people can do, right? Cutting them off sounds a bit extreme. Oh goodness, cutting any body part off of me sounds very extreme. Jovan, I feel you on that one. But I also, just to reiterate, I understand, the back problems that can come with having like a literal weighted part of your body actively pulling on your spine. I have to straighten myself just thinking about it. So I'm not trying to tell you, how to live or embarrassing myself by being ignorant. I understand. I just can't understand. Right. I understand that I can't understand your experience in that. I watch martial arts even though I'm straight. All that hardcore man meat seems too tantalizing. Keval, the way you phrased that was so poetically beautiful, dude. I also find the male physique beautiful. Not sexual, but admirable, right? I feel like for me it's like a polarity thing where you can find polarity in the male physique as well, right? But the way I find polarity in the male physique is motivation and inspiration, and mostly brain damage, where you can convince yourself of unrealistic standards. Fortunately, with the internet growing, there are more people now that actually show the way you can look if you do it natural. And it's a lot more work. Oh goodness. It's so much more work. It's a lot harder. But again, I feel if anything, I'm not going to embarrass myself by doing the hard thing the easy way. Like exercise, a beautiful quote by someone else. One day I'll be able to just have like a little asterisk, tell you friends exactly where it comes from. Is that the gym or the process of self-improvement when it comes to just doing squats in your living room, right, shows you on a very visceral level that nothing comes for free, that the only way for you to earn your progress is to earn your progress. And then that helps as a place for you to step off from, like realizing, showing yourself in an actually tangible way. Because the human being is a little bit hard to motivate, right? This being is hard to motivate sometimes. It really likes leisure because it believes that's the best way to survive. But if you can show it, if you can actually show its improvement in the physical world, on your physical form, it can become like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like you prove to yourself that you're capable of something that you have believed for a very long time in your life you weren't. It's like a radical perspective shift. It can be even embarrassing to start. All right. Part of you knows that it's coming. Part of you knows that it's going to come and you're going to realize that there is improvement. And then you're going to worry that it's just going to be something you're going to get addicted to, or something you dread that you're going to have to do, right? Like, unfortunately, again, that student's wisdom keeps coming back. We're all going to have to experience pain, experience uncertainty, and experience ceaseless work. We're going to have to, right? It's work to get up out of bed in the morning. That's work. That's work. So if we're going to absolutely have to do it, it's not embarrassing for us to actually try hard, right? I'm not saying, become a grind bro, that you should be completely assigned to hustle culture or whatever. But I am saying there's a lot for you to experience. And the experience of proving to yourself is a visceral one. It sounds stupid even for me to say it that way. To show yourself with such conviction who you want to be. And because the human being, forgets quickly, doing so consistently, showing yourself over and over again, proving to yourself that love is true. I'm trying to get better at it every day. And it feels, for some reason, it's been hard lately. Like a part of me feels very somber. I mentioned to Brother Ryan that it feels like a quiet consideration, a stillness as well. And again, talking about not trying to get away from feelings over the last week as well. I feel it is an important experience to have sometimes. Stillness is not bad. That freaking, Midnight Gospel episode shook me to my core. Stillness, spaciousness, silence. Silence, stillness, spaciousness. Silence, giving you room to listen. Stillness, giving you room to be. Spaciousness. No, 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 no. What's the stillness one? Giving you room to experience. And then spaciousness, just giving you room, or something like that. It was beautiful. Those three S's. You know what it is? I think I'm feeling maybe too grounded. Maybe that's what it is. Another word could be even uninspired. But I also know that there is a great inspiration coming. Christian has told me officially he's coming through next Sunday. So not the Sunday of this weekend, the Sunday after. That's gonna be cool. I'm looking forward to it. I don't think he's gonna be in stream that much. Maybe not, because I don't know what his working schedule's like. But knowing Christian, he'll probably figure something out. It's gonna be fun. So yes, all experience, including embarrassment, is worthy to be experienced. Jovan, I feel you on that one. I feel embarrassed on behalf of others from time to time. Cringe, right? That's what cringe is. You cringe when you feel embarrassment for another person. I partially credit it to me being too uptight about this around the silliness. Yeah, it happens. It really does. I'm not seeing Javan's comment though. Sending you 11, Javan. Double 11s. Man, I feel like I'm really, really, really far out. Not up that you do. There we go. I'm too embarrassed to type that line. It's okay. Male birds have such exaggeration. Yeah, it's true. On the other note of my abusive sisters taught me I should feel constant embarrassment and shame for my normal behaviors. She's 4 years older. I can let her continue to disprove her. Shell, your comment came through at 4:44 p.m. on my side. I respect your process. I find that there's a part of me that also has that I'll prove you wrong. I'll show you, enter family member here. And I will. Right? And we will shell. But I feel that shouldn't be our only motivation. It can be a part of our motivation, right? It can be like maybe 20%, like some of the fuel that goes in the fire, but it shouldn't be all of it, right? Because that fire is eventually gonna fade. Because eventually you will prove it. And then what? Right? Where's the fuel? Where's the fire now? Joy, my partner, is well endowed as well. She had back pain all the time. I can only imagine how difficult it must be with everyday activities, having to bend over and pick things up like alone did. Reduction makes a lot of sense in that regard. Yeah. And we have the technology at this point. Yes, but speaking from a psychological point, if you say that the attraction we have to specialized organs is about power, it wouldn't be present in nature. But it is present in nature, right? Because, like, there are a bunch of different, as you said, sexual organs in birds. Like, there's a sexual organ in birds that are these two sacs in their necks, and they're like blue colored. And then they go, bloop, 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 and they pop these sacs out of their skin. And I'm like, the fuck am I looking at right now? Is this real life that I'm witnessing with my eyeballs? And yes, it is, right? And it is, in a way, a power where the one who has the most attractive sexual organs gets the girls or gets a girl or whatever, right? And then there's this power dynamic that happens between men and women. Maybe as soon as it stabilizes, we find fault with it. So we have to switch it back up. And we've like kind of stabilized on patriarchy for a while now. And now it seems like we're trying to switch it back to more of a matriarchy. And the way I think of it, because just saying it in that way can elicit such a big fractal of bias, think of it as domination culture versus nurture culture. And I know, please, women of the future, don't cancel me for calling the feminine nurturing, because I believe it is. I believe everything you see is feminine. The seer is masculine, as in the earth, as a result of that, is a feminine expression, and we have been nurtured by her. I get to breathe air. I get to be held down by her beautiful mass. She creates gravitational fields. Like it really for me is a nurturing experience. And the patriarchal dominator culture is where you try to coerce that nature into being something, right? Because you, as the masculine, only believe there is worthy or worth in seeing one thing, as in maybe as an observer on a day-to-day level, you only believe what is worthy to be seen is your food on your plate, ready to be eaten, right? Where the fullness of that experience, usually to be able to eat the food you're eating, you had to go out and kill an animal, right? And it was a very personal and real experience that you couldn't really unsee, right? You had to see that in order to have the experience of eating your food. And now, as a result of our dominator culture, as a collective, right? Because it's convenient. It's convenient to dominate things. It's convenient to dominate the animals and use them as livestock to give us food. And I'm a meat eater, so let's just put that out there. I eat meat because I believe it's very healthy. Right now we know it has most of the macronutrients that we need, right? And it gives me most of my vitamins as well. And not wanting to eat too much, it's also nutrient dense. So I get to eat one meal. I get to eat myself to satiety at least once a day, and then I leave it. Then I intermittent fast until the next day. And for me, that works. I've tried different things. That works for me. But with our technology, fortunately, we will be able to eventually grow these things without the need for them to be grown as actual walking, breathing, living beings. And for the longest time, and I still do hold this understanding, the way I see the animals that live on our farm, for example, we have cattle on the farm, they're living lives, right? And if they weren't kept for the sole purpose of, I believe, a storage of wealth, one, and two, a producer of food, reliable food that you can just almost like extract, they wouldn't live the lives they lived, right? They wouldn't have experienced the whole life, that was theirs. And I believe they live good lives. Watching the little calves chase one another around, there is a playfulness, there is a curiosity. Cows are curious, so curious. Like in this sounds like, oh, that's so cute. Actually, it's more destructive than cute, right? Imagine you have a ball on a long rod that as soon as the water dips to a certain level, it opens a little tap, and then it fills that bucket up with water again. And then that rod lifts up to the level, and then it turns the tap off. If you leave that contraption uncovered, right, like you have to build a whole box over it. If you leave it uncovered, the cows will be so curious about it that literally 9.9 times out of 10, they'll destroy it in a week because they'll be like, wow, look at this thing. You can make it squirt water if you push it down. What happens when I push it to the side? They live lives. They definitely live lives. Like I'm seeing, Ginger. Look at that animal just chillax, looking like a little sphinx, staring out into the farm. Pippi is there as well. I don't know if you can see her. Yeah, you can see her. Looking at those clouds being colored by red light. Come back this side. Okay, let's get back into it. Sexuality is strange. I'm a butt man all day, every day, but it's a literal poop factory. Humans are complex. We embarrass ourselves all the time. It's true. My friends and I embarrass each other, all in love. It keeps us at our toes. I embarrass myself on the daily, but I can't pinpoint them because I don't hold on to it. That's too much weight to carry. Yeah, I feel, if you do carry it, you really quickly realize that you're heavier than you want to be. You'll be like, huh, why do I feel so burdened by something? Maybe thinking about this event over and over again and telling myself a story of injustice, of how I'm a victim, of how could they, how is it possible, you know, how am I going to get them back? Maybe I should just put this down and realize there are other things to think about. We love our family and their opinions mean so much. when we are growing. It's true. It shapes our reality, the way we see the world. Look, for me, learning about life is more than just the human perspective. I want to know as is, which means nature plus universe also. My parents once caught my ex leaving my room at 3 in the night, but it was fine because I talked a lot and saved the day. That sounds nice. I had a young woman doctor do a testicle exam. She was the opposite of your guy, grabbed the bejeebus out of them. I'm like, you know, they have nerve endings galore, right? She just like theory gripped two white asses in the moonlight. Oh, I'm happy you caught that one. I'm loving the stream so much today. Thank you, Jovi. Embarrassment is okay. 2 moons in the moon. Sharing embarrassing moments with real friends doesn't hold the weight of embarrassment, does it? Nah, it doesn't. It because we know, you know, there is no judgment. There is an acceptance and a synchronicity, a resonation with reality, right? We're like, ah, you also human? Oh wow, I human. How about that? I human all the time. I've been humaning for 24 years now. How many years have you been humaning for? Joy, my friend. All have seen me naked because of a wild card. All of my friends have seen me naked. I don't think any of my friends have seen me naked. No, actually not. You know, Joe, almost all my girlfriends are naked because I've shopped and dressed for them. That's so nice. My stories of embarrassment are from a few years back. At some point in my life, I just stopped being worried about making a fool out of myself. There are bigger hurdles in life than blushing and hiding. Yeah, right. There are bigger hurdles than wanting to only be seen one way, right? Trying to so painstakingly form your persona and almost being offended to the point of nerve-wracking anxiety if someone doesn't see the persona you're trying to project. Gratitude for the fly sacrifice. Did I kill a fly? Someone else kill a fly, maybe? Mm-mm-mm. Hearing drunk stories and getting the flashbacks as the actions are re-encountered holds embarrassment. Very much so. Very much so. But it was kind of like spaced out. Like I found out about everything I did during that weekend over months. I didn't actually find out about it all at the same time. Joe, when I became a dad, it was like a flip switched. I don't care a bit about others' view of me, and I have created a human. I am adult. I have literally spawned another human being into this reality. Don't start with me. Don't you start with me. Drug stories are usually full of shame. They usually are, right? And I've noticed that about drinking excessively, and that's kind of why I stopped. Look, I wish my stories involved alcohol, some do, but a lack of impulse control and teenage male testosterone, danger zone. Oh yeah. Gotta run to work. Love you again, Louisiana. We'll see you soon. Super fair. Love is true. You know, in the kitchen, garbage can one time. Oh, that's so bad. It was a very proud moment when my girlfriend woke up and started laughing and filming me. Life is full of craziness. That sounds like one of those extreme experiences. I'm just imagining the smell. The smell is what gets me, dude. That's like the hardest hitting note on that story for me, even though you didn't even have to say it. The unknown feeling and the thoughts that flow in the drunken moment are all the wall rude. Yeah, I'm grateful for all the times now. Luke, as long as we can look back at those embarrassing moments, knowing that it's not necessarily what we want to be doing. Was drunk, downtime, Chicago, busy summer night. I was running around having the time of my life, asking people if they wanted to come to my fiesta. When they asked what, I yelled, balls deep fiesta. And then ran away giggling like a Jack Sparrow. I did this for hours, as my buddies say, hours. Like I feel like maybe there's some sort of cultural context that I'm missing, you know, where I don't know. Maybe it's balls deep fiesta. My my fia- oh goodness. Were you like basically harassing people, right? Some mild sexual harassment. Yeah, I appreciate the running away giggling like Jack Sparrow. That's like the cherry on top of the cake to me. Did you try to steal the car while you were naked? No, I don't think I was like full. I shouldn't say it. I'm not gonna say it. I wasn't full. I didn't go full Lucy to that extent where where I was naked. Trying to steal cars. That shit is wild. The question is, did your mom forgive you? My mom actually walked out of her room and looked at me while I was telling that story. So I'll ask her. I'll ask her. Running around these nuts jokes. Oh goodness, the embarrassment. I woke up naked in a random truck one time. Nobody found me. I just woke up and started walking home naked. I found my pants like a block away, so I made it home barefoot and shirtless. The finding of your pants in a scenario like that, to me in that story, sounds like the real miracle, dude. Like the universe is like, okay, I'm gonna embarrass you. I'm gonna embarrass you. You're gonna have to walk naked for a while, but I'll give you your pants back after you've like really ate the embarrassment. I won't like go full Lucy on you with the embarrassment. Having to show up completely naked at home. At least pants. There'll be questions, but there won't be all of the questions. Guy getting into his truck later. Does it smell like drunk farts in here? For some reason, just hearing the word drunk farts gives me like a trauma response of like a we call it a kriebelrige gevoel. Like a I was an animal when I was younger. All of us were. Oh goodness, the teenager is definitely not a human being. At least not the way we expect them to be. I greened out so many times as a young teen. I remember puking in someone's Uggs bring and them bring us to leave because everyone wanted to bang the Uggs girl. I almost ruined the chances, I guess. They were like, bruh, come on. Oh, like I was trying to get into Uggs girl's pants. And now she has puke on her Uggs. Like that's gonna be such a mood killer. Why did you do this? I'm just like thinking about the teenage priority list, how they like interface with the world. Like think about this. There's like a dude, right, who like really is into this chick. And then him seeing another girl like have a bad time, literally puking her lungs out onto this chick he likes his Uggs. That to him is like world ending. He's like, oh fuck. Whole night ruined. Never mind that this person is suffering. Nah, oh my night. Oh, I was such a victim. Oh, being the character of such obnoxious stories was the motivation to remove myself from the nonsense. Yeah, Luke, that is the way we have to do it. It's like a full responsibility thing where you're like, okay, this is one way of being. I don't think I want to be that way. So I'll choose not to be. Choose to be differently. See y'all later. Love you, Shell. Thank you for joining us. Frequency healing. Yeah, the frequency healing. Still removing poisons every day. It's hard when so many poisons are marked to the unaware masses. It's true. The things we eat in our food, the things we have in our milk bottles because of the tubes that they run through, the things we have, in our air, in our water. Yeah, there's a lot right now. We're showing up more and more for our health. It starts with yourself. It starts with the small things. Like I feel there's gonna be probably a lot of embarrassment, as there always is, just looking back at our younger selves, and the mistakes we used to make. I had the same pattern for years. In my moments of clarity, I would take the time to remind myself that I deserved more from me. I don't know when that shift happened, but it was intentional. It takes work to shake the old patterns, and you don't have to expect it to just happen overnight. If you have a bad pattern right now, right, there might be something coming up. Consider how long did it take you to form said bad pattern, right? Be okay with it taking, again, that long to form new patterns. You have a lot of time. Doesn't happen. It doesn't happen instantly. It would be nice, right? But it doesn't have to happen instantly either. I feel if it did happen instantly, we would rob ourselves of most of the fun work we get to do in this life. because some of it's not gonna be fun. But seeing yourself improve, watching your own day-to-day experience become better because of your conscious awareness to show up for love is very nice. It's very loving. You're like, damn, I do love myself. How about that? It works. It takes time to work with old patterns, and you can do that over the next 22 years, right? Over the next 22 years. Call to action. If I show up every day for at least one thing that I love, and even if that one thing is only myself, right? I feed myself well, I drink enough water, I sleep well, I move my body so that I can continue moving my body, then 22 years from now, you're gonna be like, damn, thank you for loving myself. Look at this dude, gobbledygoo. What? Oh, one time I farted while on the front page of Reddit stream. 20K alleged viewers. I speculate only a few hundred real people witnessed it. You think the numbers were fake? I don't think they were fake. I think they were fleeting, if anything, right? Because it did pop up on people's front pages. And I know a lot of people use Reddit. I know that for a fact. So maybe 20,000 people did witness it, but maybe it was a witness to the extent of someone seeing your fart video and then scrolling past it, continuing on, right? Not trying to make less of it, because that did, kind of connect us with one another. Grayson, it's nice seeing you, friend. Sending you lovin's. Rewire your brain and leave those poisonous thought processes in the wind. Melt them away. People are upset that I'm not still stuck in the same rut from years ago. Surprised in a way. I slightly get triggered, but then I relax back into love and gratitude for how far it is away from now. Yeah, totally. I feel my thoughts can purge whatever toxin is induced. I hear you, Luke, right? Especially with that experience of people either being unwilling to acknowledge your growth or trying to perpetuate that you haven't grown or trying to tell you that you shouldn't have, right? That there is another experience. I heard this quote again, can't remember who it was said by, but he went into this trip of every other person who tries to tell you how to live your life is trying to tell you how to live your life with their life in mind, right? And for that reason, someone might have selfish reasons for their life for you to perform a certain way. As in, if your dad, owns a very big company and he's looking for someone to be a successor, and you grow up to be, 23 and you did study for your business degree or whatever, and then you don't want to work for his company, he's gonna, of course, keep telling you what you're supposed to be doing because it benefits his life, right? It serves the fractal of his life. Like in his life, in that perspective, in the extreme selfish perspective, you're only a side character, right? And you get to play a role in his story. So don't embarrass yourself by letting someone else tell you what to do. I try to keep what we try to teach in these streams as vague as possible by just saying show up for love, because what you love is going to be different to what I love. And if I had to tell you specifically, step by step, what you were supposed to love, I don't think you'll love that. You're going to be like, yeah, Mel, I tried, doing exactly what I'm told, but it doesn't seem very nurturing. Bringing back that domination slash nurture, fractal of love, 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 love. Luke, I had the same pattern for years. I think I've read it already. Love is true. Luke, sending love as well. One time, thank you again, Gob, for joining us. Melty, those weird bubble neck birds are cool. They are cool, right, Joe? I like you, but your neck bubbles don't do it for me. Oh my goodness. Imagine that conversation. Imagine the conversation of like hearing how your neck bubbles, are inferior to your brother Steve's neck bubbles. It's like, yeah, you're great and all, but you ain't no Steve, dude. That dude's neck bubbles. Oh, it's a bird being like, oh, my pride, oh, my heart free protein, and buzzing feelings in my throat. I call it a win. I rare ginger side thing. I just swallowed a fly. It was my soda. I once performed a DJ set. I was terribly nervous beforehand and perhaps drunk a few too many beers. I absolutely crushed the performance. And 2 minutes before I finished the set, I pissed my pants. Nobody said my friends on the stage with me knew, but it was so embarrassing. That is brutal. But I mean, if you're standing there, upright, you're actively busy, you just drank way too much. You can't leave the set. I feel, if anything, there's more admiration from me for you than embarrassment or cringe. I don't think it as cringe as much as I see it as like this dude really like went through for the set though, like made it happen. DJ PP, DJ Wizkid. Like there's so many that comes up as well. No, no, I'm gonna put them away. Yeah, in the weirdest way, DJ PP pants as a fractal probably would sell. Then at least the set was a good one and you learned a valuable lesson. You now know how long you can hold it. Exactly. Afterwards, I thought I was a damn good with the beer. So much beer would be more in a lucid state. I mean, maybe, like it can be uh anxiety reducer. If you're experiencing extreme amount of, stress that you're gonna mess it up, if you don't have any inhibitions, you don't really care about anything. You're not gonna care about messing up the set, so you can, in that state of mind, maybe do a little bit better. You're less scared of embarrassment, maybe, if you're drunk. Kind of connecting it to today's stream topic. Creative ventures are generally more successful when we can drop our inhibitions. There, Sam goes for the same fractal. Humans can't just do that. Alcohol helps, though. I mean, just do that as an it's easy peasy. No, but I feel you can get good at it, right? And the best way to get good at it is to practice, and the best way to practice is to do it every day, little by little, practicing, getting into the flow state, right? He was in the zone, the liquor, and exactly. Embarrassment about humans can do that. Alcohol can help. I'm not anti-alcohol. I just think that one doesn't need it to find inspiration. I am actually anti-alcohol a little bit. Only because it is unfortunately an actual poison. What it does is it stimulates the GABA receptors, and that does have a lowering of your anxiety state. And we can do that with different drugs, and alcohol is a drug technically. So I feel just because alcohol does something to your brain, stimulates those GABA receptors and upregulates a little bit of dopamine, doesn't mean that that's the way we should be doing it, right? Because unfortunately, alcohol as a medium permeates every single one of your cells. It goes straight to your mitochondria, right? And you don't really want ethanol, alcohol, inside of those cells generally. Be your cliche, cringy self. What are you embarrassed about? Humans can do that. Are you insulting me right now? How dare? I'm not embarrassed. I can say from my experience performing since that the alcohol isn't necessary. For me, it's practice. Exactly. Exactly. It's the practice thing. You just became so second nature that you can turn it on and off. Bro, practice. Synchronicity melt. There we go, Dan. We said it at the same time, bro. Who drinks to find inspiration? Um, I can probably see a bunch of people, drinking to find inspiration. Maybe just to find the inspiration to commit to something, right? Showing up, speaking to someone, sitting down and writing something. They don't call it liquid courage for nothing. You see, Joy is also there. Alcohol is a great example of things we use regularly that can be abused. It's not bad itself. It's how we treat and use it in our lives. Yeah. Moderation with everything, right? Even moderation. Courage makes more sense. Agreed. I do like to have a beer and jam out sometimes. It's true. I just feel we had a culture where we would be just as okay with people eating mushrooms as we are with people getting drunk. That's all I'm asked. That's like I'm still okay with people getting drunk if that's what they want to do. But I want a culture where it's also okay for people to be eating mushrooms. right? That's not too much to ask. Is that too much to ask? I tell us an embarrassing story about Christian. He always tells stories about you when he's around. I don't have any embarrassing stories about Christian. Christian is one of the coolest people I know. I mean, no, okay, no. I respect him too much. Like I thought about an embarrassing story for a second, and then my mind was instantaneously like, no, you shall not speak anything embarrassing. Uh, I like not drinking too. Yeah, it's just for me a social norm thing, right? I'm kind of like counter social norms in general, but because drinking has like a toxicity part to it as well. Like if it was just the softness, the conversational ability, the the freedom, to do things, then I would be okay with drinking. But the fact that it has a toxic element to the human body, that I'm like, mm-mm-mm. There are other things, better things. Melty the hipster. I played flute for 11 years, and I was technically good. I could play the notes as written, but it was not brilliant. There's a difference between being able to produce the art and being good at art. That is a good point you're making. I could not drink like I do in college, in the real world, without being judged like an alcoholic. Yeah, and just because you're in college and that's an acceptable behavior doesn't mean it's not alcoholism, right? It goes both ways. I agree, Melt. Mushrooms, weed, alcohol, etc. all are just tools, and we've glorified one of them while rejecting the others. It's weird and nonsensical. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Thank you, Dan, for synchronizing. Blue. We have blue, orange, and green. Joe saying green. Zano saying orange. Toon saying blue. Ooh, that is very blue. Look at you, Toons. Look at you. But there is like orange coming out from the clouds, casting a beautiful orange light on that owl. Look at that. The moon is half right now, so it's not exactly the same moon, but yeah, this card feels special right now. What a special card. Thank you, friends. It has some purples in it as well, Dry. Like those, I feel like they might be dark bluishes, but they have like purple elements to them as well. Pippi looks so cute, curled up. Have her in her chokehold. Yeah, like she's using me as a little neck pillow, knocked out, feeling so safe, completely okay. Nothing else in the world needs to be changed. Considered the Rule 34 and technically advancement. If it exists, someone's abusing it. Oh yes, unfortunately. Pink purple. So much love is being shared. So cute. So nice to be with you in this space right now, family. Grace Hand. We love you, friend. Here to share our owl guardian. Look at those hands. Those are your hands. Look down. You can literally see those hands right now just by looking down. Damn. Damn, your hands holding this seat up. Sun rising, moon waning, owl gardening, this whole experience. That is a tarantal, is the word we have for it, guinea fowl. Those are my hands. Those are your hands, Grace. Let's see what it means. Did I? No. Owl guardian. Guidance, insight, and intuition. There we go. I don't know if it's reversed on your friend's side. It might not be. But yeah. Owls are shamanic and guardian symbols for many cultures around our planet. In Hawaii, the owl, Pio, is one of the most important family protectors and ancestral guardians, known as the Aumakua. The tetrahedral diamond geometry of this card acts as a mirror of the many facets of your consciousness. The message the owl brings is one of guidance, from the intuitive, like my mind is melting just reading this. The message the owl brings is one of guidance from the intuitive part of your being. Synchronicity and insight are likely indicators at this moment in your life. This is an excellent time to practice meditation and other techniques for connecting with your highest self. One fun and simple method is to try a bit of automatic writing. A great time to do this is first thing in the morning when you are fresh from your dream time. However, any time will do. Clear your mind and start with the intention to connect with your higher self. Write without consciously thinking for as long as it feels right. A paragraph or two is plenty. You may be surprised at the wisdom that comes from your higher self. Cultivating a genuine connection is not difficult, and appreciating the wisdom that dwells within you may aid in your ability to trust yourself. View the many facets reflected within and allow yourself to listen more closely to the insights and intuitions that are at all times available. Feels like it's the first time that we read that card, even though it's not. I really love these cards. They're always such an experience. Such an experience to be shared. The fact that we were like literally hitting on those notes in today's stream as well. Had to visit you today, especially family. You are all doing so well, and I'm so proud of each and every one of you. Seeing you all grow along with my vessel. Infinite gratitude for all of you doing your best. I see you. With a little butterfly. Thank you, Mel, for holding the space for our family and pulling this card for my vessel. Thank you for, as your vessel, having this experience, being here right now to experience the card with me, dear friend. Been absorbing knowledge from the channelings recently. Thank you, Lou. Pay attention. That's all we need to do. We just have to pay attention. All of the wisdom that we need is at all times available to us right now. Gosh, back in time to be hit in the face of that card, right? It's been a while since we pulled that one. Feels like we have been divinely guided since that last card pull. We just need a little bit of a reminder that we are still, actively on the path of the self, of yourself. Grace, you are an active contributor to the growth and is a valued member of this planet and this space, especially. So beautiful. I had a dream last night. I got rejected by somebody, and I opened a package of a sidewalk chalk and started eating them. They tasted like candy, and I became addicted. Damn. That took me on a roller coaster. I could probably see myself eating chalk candy as well. We actually have these little pellets of like sugar that got like pressed and it's like smooth. And I imagine it tasting exactly like that. And they're like hits of pure sugar. I can definitely see him getting addicted to the chalk candy. He's a little cracked, Susanna. I have a real friend with a chalk addiction. Are you serious? He actually eats chalk? No, don't do that, friend. Stop eating the chalk. I'm so excited to continue to share with you. There is much to come. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Peace be upon you, dear friends. Thank you for joining me. Eternal blessings. It's okay to be embarrassed. It's okay to go through all of it. The most beautifulest day, everyone. I sincerely love you all so very gigantically, hugely, dearly. Melton, all of you, oh so wonderfully wonderful friends. We love you, dear Shan. It's all about the texture, he says. Love you all. Love you, friends. Love you, Joe. Thank you for sending so much love to all of us as well. we got chalk candy, sweet tarts. It actually probably exists. There's probably a shop that sells actual candy that comes in a box that looks like normal chalk, so that you can, in front of a bunch of people, just with a chalk box, take pieces of chalk out and and then they can see the colors in your face, and they're like, "Is this person eating fucking chalk in front of me right now?" And you know it's candy, and they don't know it's candy. Go and have some fun, embarrass yourself, see what happens. You'll like that's the cool thing, right? You can embarrass yourself like that, and you'll be okay. You'll be the one having the most fun in that experience. In fact, if they tasted the candy, it would be tough to deny, but I'm sure it tastes like drywall. I'm just imagining this candy of yours just being like, pelletized pieces of, meth or something. And you were just gnawing on meth and you're like, this is so addictive. Whatever this chalk is, it's amazing. There's an expensive addiction. I'd rather drink. You remember those chalk cigarettes? There we go. You see. But I mean, like, there's a shop that sells like those silica gel packs, for example. Sells like those do not eat silica gel packs and stuff. I'm sure they probably would sell chalk as well. Okay, dear friends, thank you for joining me. Sending your lovin's. Yeah, guinea fowl making their noises, saying goodbye as well. You could blow candy dust out of them like smoke. I don't think I ever had those that you could blow candy dust out of. I remember just having the little white sticks that you would suck on, basically. Or you could crunch them up as well. Gonna be candy joints now. Oh yeah. Please no. I don't think that's okay. I was stripping once and couldn't find my meth. But then when I did, I ate some. Oh goodness. You you lost your meth because you ate it? Is that how I'm supposed to be interpreting by everyone? Are those edibles edible, the guinea fowl? They're basically like chickens. You wanna see what they look like? Hey Google, show me a picture. This is what they look like. I don't know why these photos are so freaking scuffed. The potato quality photos. But they're like chimkins, baby. They have like a bunch of spots on them. Yeah. I have eaten one of them. Full disclosure. My dad shot it with a rifle. Then we covered it in very clay-like mud. So it's very fine, very sticky. Then we made a fire, had like a whole heap of coals, and then we dug a hole underneath that fire. Maybe the coals were moved, and then there was a hole dug. And then we put that mud-covered guinea fowl in that hole, covered it with dirt, and then covered it with those coals. And then the next morning, we took it out of there. And as my dad like tapped the mud with a knife and cracked it open, all of the skin and all of the feathers was completely stuck to the mud, and there was just this like gem of little chicken body revealed from a ball of mud to my 11-year-old eyes. And I was like, kind of melted my brain. I didn't know it was possible to have an experience like that. Sunset is very pretty, giving you even more of the colors. The way this tree looks, does it melt your friends' brains as well? The amount of fractals, it's so intricate, so beautiful. That is a way. That is an awesome way to cook a bird. It was amazing, dude. It really was. It wasn't that flavorful. It was kind of like just dry chicken tasting, but the process and the reveal. I feel like the reveal was the craziest part of it. There's my sunset now. There's your sunset, Gabriel. Have it. You guys didn't leave. No, we're still here for you, Connor. We're leaving now, dude. I'm just sharing the sunset. Told like one last story. That sounds amazing. What? Meat gem from the mud, right? I almost missed the sunset. I wanted Melt Plus. Melt Plus cents, yeah. All of our friends watching right now, they paid for Melt Plus. So they're getting like sunset. 5 minutes of extra sunset. Anyways now. Wait a second. Let me see what our friend's saying. Grace Hand is saying, I've been tripping out on myself from the past month now. And the trip just keeps getting more intense every second. You're here for a reason, Grace Hand, right? Like if you're anything, it's not strong. Did I just say that? If you're anything, it's not weak. And these experiences, as intense as they may be, we get to show ourselves how strong we are, how capable we are of enduring, right? That quote of love being one of my favorites, that love isn't always going to be just sunshine and rainbows. Love will show you how much you can endure. How much can you endure, dear friend? Right? And if you don't love anything, bet your ass it's gonna be very hard to endure anything. Melt Plus. That sunset is going to be my phone background. Don't you flatter me. Eventually I'll get good gear and I'll be able to take, crisp 40 megapixel photos for you friends. It's okay. The reflection made you spell the opposite. It's true. It's true. I had to double reflect. I had to say something and your mind was like, the fuck? No, that's not right. And then it was like, actually, that isn't right. You're right. Grace. And then I recorrected. I'm weak strong. Yes. He has embraced weak strong. Why do we fall Bruce? Why do we fall Bruce? Melt Plus. For $5 a month, you get Melt Plus. It's okay. The reflection made you speak. I have so much love. I'm weak. I'm strong even when I'm weak. Weak even when I'm strong. Like that is the thing as well, right? Like even if you're very strong as a human being, this fleshy vehicle is still weak on the grand scheme of things. If an asteroid is coming down upon you, no matter how much you've gymmed, you're still gonna be turned into vapor basically. I'm sorry for the visceral, nature of that comment. But yes, right? Keep myself weird. Let yourself be embarrassed, dear friend. It's okay to be embarrassed. Embarrass yourself more, right? It's not a weakness. It might make you feel weak in that moment, right? And socially, some people might perceive you as weak if you embarrass yourself. But if you can be strong, even in the face of embarrassment, that is real strength. That is going to look like weakness. Pow! 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 Don't mistake my kindness for weakness, right? Be so weak, be so kind that people consider you weak. If I am anything, I am not strong. Oh, Connor, maybe that's what you needed to hear so that you can go in the opposite direction. I'm strong, you're not weak. Yes, I can transmute all the negativity. I can feel it. My reaction time is getting faster. Watching the narrative form and then being like, yeah, sure, I've made all these mistakes, but also I'm doing all of this work not to continue making mistakes. I was like, yeah, but you still made this mistake yesterday. Yes, I did make that mistake yesterday, but now today I'm gonna try and not make that same mistake. Yeah, but surely you'll make that mistake again. Yes, surely I probably will make the mistake of, for instance, eating sugar again. But I'm gonna try and make that mistake less and less. Sure, but also, mama na mana. No matter how much you've gymmed, there are still bullets. Exactly. Don't bring me down, Bruce. Hello. I wish I could understand that fractal. I don't know if I do, Zano. Melt looks mischievous, like he's gonna tell us a scary story. I don't know if I know any scary stories. I feel like the stuff we talk about in these streams is scary enough just by themselves. It's like we get to be tripped out just for the sake of the nature of reality that we consider. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna die someday. How about that? So scary, Mel, stop it. One embarrassment energy can be transmuted into a confidence given the opportunity for a shifted perspective. Yeah. I'm jelly that Melt is not getting bit by mosquitoes. I'm like alert right now, Zano. I am alert because I can feel them feeling for me, being like just there's a carbon dioxide breathing source of heat sitting on the grass right now. You boys want to go see what that's about? Me. Mama, mama. Right? Me. Dominating. Mama, nurture. The tree looks like massive elk horns coming out of Mel's head. That is exactly the embarrassment I want to be inducing onto myself. Beautifully put, Mel. Love you. Grayson. The tree. So much love. Druid form. I don't know if I want to be a druid. Like a movie really ruined the druids for me. It's a movie called The Festival or Festival. I adore your expressions always. And I know your friends do. Thank you for that. Thank you for providing for me without doubt, proving to me without doubt that love is true and that I can express, I can embarrass myself. I did. I embarrassed myself multiple times today. And I can still be okay. Still loved. You're a wizard, Mel. There we go. I'm a bard. I'm probably a wizard. I do consider myself a magic user. Bars, Sam Bars Solidarity. I'm just imagining Cable rocking out, straight gangster rapping, in the most beautiful poems, ever befitted into human ears, as I'm wizard melting through things. The two voices is constant yin yang, exactly. Nah, it's really cool. So much love is being shared. You're a wizard, Ari. I mean, Melt. See, I knew it. Don't tell Christian. Melt is a wizard. I'm gonna be Wizard King. Christian doesn't know that I've been practicing. I've been getting better and better at my magicking. I can see the truth. Love you all. Love you, friends. Thank you for joining me, spending these moments, for waiting until it's very scary. Stop embarrassing myself, please. Stop it. No. Mel gonna be in a cloak and a staff next stream. Like, if I could just create something out of nothing, I probably would do silly stuff like that. Take care of yourselves. Remember, you aren't the self. Yes. Take care of the self, as in the self, but remember that you aren't that self, right? Take care of this thing you're attached to, but don't become attached to it. Beautifully said. Thank you, Cable, for the reminder, for the call to action. Love you, friends. Go take care of yourself. That's the best way we take care of the whole, because we are the whole as the collective self. So if all of us take care of ourselves, suddenly the whole is going to be taken care of. Damn, that's a lot in one sentence. Learn to do the magic. Sending you love to your friends. Until next time. Cheers, Grace.